Neoconservative dingbat Bill Kristol is flexing his ability to be wrong about everything yet again, and this time he did it while discussing Donald Trump. So here's what he said on Twitter. He retweeted somebody that said, "Trump ends speech in Nashville with, 'I will protect your Social Security without cuts. I will protect your Medicaid.'" And Bill Kristol responded to that saying, "Willing to lose the primary to win the general." So, the idea that he's getting at there is Donald Trump fundamentally misunderstands the Republican base. He fundamentally misunderstands conservatives. There's no way that this message is going to be appealing. He's going to lose the primary by saying stuff like this to try to win the general, because in the general, Bill Kristol thinks, well, that's where people really want to hear that they're going to have their Social Security and their Medicare protected. But not in the primary. The real conservatives don't want to hear that you'll protect those programs. Not at all. So this is a perfect example of an establishment prick being up his own ass and being totally out of touch with regular Americans. Why do I say that? Well, let me give you some data. Quote, "A Pew poll conducted in 2013 found that just 21% of Republicans favored cuts to Medicare. A higher percentage, 24%, favored an increase in Medicare spending. The findings for Social Security were even more dramatic. Just 17% of Republicans favored Social Security spending cuts, while 35% favored an increase. Even among very conservative voters, support for entitlement spending is high. A 2014 Pew poll found that among consistently conservative Americans, 59% wanted to maintain current Social Security benefits. Only 38% favored reductions. Support for any kind of reduction in Social Security benefit is not much higher among very conservative people, 38%, than liberals, 32%, according to the Pew poll." Okay, so do you understand what this means here? It means empirically, objectively, factually, even the far right wing says, don't touch Medicare, don't touch Medicaid, don't touch Social Security. Leave it alone, and if anything, more of them want to expand it. Which, remind me what candidate is calling for that again? Bernie Sanders. So, the problem with a guy like Bill Kristol is, like I already said, he lives up his own anus. And he thinks, well, you know, he's got this smug elitist attitude of like, whatever I want and whatever I think of is what the base in the Republican Party wants. But where's your evidence? Where's your data to back it up? Where are your poll numbers? You don't have any. You don't have any. So this is why Donald Trump is doing well. I mean, there's a variety of reasons. Probably the most important thing is that he has over-the-top confidence, which a lot of people, especially on the right, they're more authoritarian, so they're willing to be deferential to power in that regard. So he has over-the-top confidence. That's a big plus for him. He's actually saying things that are against lobbyists and corruption. Of course the right wing likes that. Everybody in America likes that. Nobody's pro-corruption except the establishment and people like Bill Kristol. And also, Donald Trump is saying stuff like this. Things that are objectively popular on Social Security and entitlements. And in a way, on this issue, Donald Trump is trying to break free from the paradigm of left-wing, right-wing politics and say, you know, I'm a serious guy and I'm not going to just toe the party line where I think the party line is ridiculous. I'm going to make the economy grow so much that you won't need to cut Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. That's what I'm going to do. With good management, I'll do that. Now, whether or not he'd actually do that is a separate conversation, and one in which I'm much more skeptical. But the bottom line is, Donald Trump has actually proven himself at this point to be way more intelligent than the Republican establishment. Way more intelligent than any neocon idiots out there like Bill Kristol. And that's why it's like they're being hit with the fucking tidal wave. They're all flabbergasted, like, oh my God, how's he leading in the polls? And actually, sometimes they don't even recognize that. After the first debate, did you know that in the Weekly Standard, which is Bill Kristol's, you know, conservative nonsense magazine, there were articles written like, and that's the end of Donald Trump. What an embarrassing debate performance. Meanwhile, every single poll had Donald Trump winning that debate by wide margins. Again, are you sensing a theme here about neocons and elitist Republicans and the establishment right? They live up their own ass. They're like, poll numbers, I don't believe in poll numbers. I don't believe in facts. I don't believe in reality. I just write articles solely based on opinion and mock you if you disagree with them, even if you have all the facts on your side. So what we're seeing here with Donald Trump, I still believe at some point he's going to fizzle out. I still believe on some level he's a Newt Gingrich 2.0. But the reality is he's a much bigger force than anybody gave him credit for, because he's willing to say things that are anti-lobbyist. He's willing to say things that are for entitlements. And he's willing to disagree with absolute morons like Bill Kristol. And knock, knock, America. Guess what? Nobody likes Bill Kristol. So stuff like that resonates.